So, oh, I think I'm too loud. I'm gonna quiet myself a little bit. Yo. Okay. So, hello everybody, my name is Kickerlin, you may also know me as Dino from PC1, and I will be your commentator for today's PC2 race. Today we're gonna be racing in China. A pretty interesting track, has a lot of mixed corners, a lot of slow speed, medium speed and high speed corners, mainly high speed. And yeah, it's a track existing of 16 corners, which are pretty like well spread out. We have a nice mix of medium speed, low speed, and high speed corners, as I said. Especially the turn 7, which is gonna be really interesting to see how all of the drivers are gonna cope with that corner, as in today's. As in this year's game, the cars like to oversteer in that corner, so everyone will have to be pretty careful on that corner. Also, the 11th, 12th and 13th corner, together they make up the snail section, I think at least. I'm not sure on that. Also, a pretty high mix of low speed and high speed corners. Pretty bad for the traction of the car. So everyone will have to be really careful there, and probably our overtaking opportunity at turn 14, as it's right after the long straight. So that's probably the place where we're gonna be having the most overtakes, but I guess we'll have to see in today's race how everything copes. Can someone just tell me if the quality is good, if you can hear me good, or if I need to up the game volume or decrease my volume? So please, someone in chat, just say if everything's okay and we should be on the way. Okay, thank you FedEx. We are just waiting for some people to join, and then we're gonna be starting the weekend. We're gonna first start with qualifying, and then we're gonna go to the race. The qualifying is set on short, so all the drivers are gonna have, I think, 18 minutes to do their laps, and yeah, they will have to be pretty quick about it. I think they can get like maximum, I would say 8 or 9 laps, but they're probably not gonna do that. They're gonna probably do only 2 or 3 laps, one at the beginning, one at the middle of the session, and then one at the final stages of the session. If the drivers go on medium tires and qualify in P10 or above, they're gonna be starting on those tires. So whatever tire they qualify in the top 10, they're gonna be starting on that tire, because they cannot change that tire per the Parc Fermé rules. So every driver on today's grid will have to really think about the strategy that they want to take in today's race, which will probably be a 2-stop, a softs to mediums to softs, or maybe a 1-stop from softs to hards. They can do that as well. So I guess we'll have to see what all of our 17 drivers today, or maybe more, are gonna do and choose in today's race. So yeah, like I said, China is a pretty interesting track. Its debut race was in 2004, which was won by Rubens Barrichello, I think, in the Ferrari. I'm not sure about that. And and the last Grand Prix was in 2019, which was won by a certain Lewis Hamilton, if I remember correctly. But I'm not too sure about that. For me, I don't really like the track. I really don't. In real life, I think it's pretty okay, but um, in this year's game, especially, I think it's really bad to drive on. Like I really don't feel a lot of control over the car. Like it's really uncomfortable to drive on this track, but that's just my opinion. Everyone else has their own opinion. This is also a track where I won my first league race in 2020. I think it was somewhere in November last year, maybe even later than that. I don't really remember, but yeah, it was China that I won my first race. You can also check that if you're interested. You don't have to on my channel, but you don't have to. That's just a quick fun fact for those who want to know something about me. 18 drivers, I don't know if we are waiting for anyone else. Probably not, or maybe yes. We're just waiting for everyone to ready up to start the qualifying session. And also, if you hear some noises in the background, we are having some renovations at our home, so please don't mind that. I need to learn how to do this. Just a second. Da da da. Okay. That should be good. I think everything should be working correctly. Okay, sorry for the black screen. Looks like we are going underway to start our qualifying session. So yeah, like I said, every driver will have 18 minutes to do their laps on whichever tire they choose. They can also choose whatever setup they want. So yeah, we are waiting for everyone to ready up to start. That's pretty loud if I say so myself. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm sorry for me being a bit quiet. I was just checking up on everything, if everything was working correctly, and it is. So, here we are in our qualifying session. We are just waiting for everyone to put on their setups and to start their lap. In the previous Grand Prix, we had Levy win the race in Japan, so I think he's gonna be the one to look after this weekend, or this race, if I say it correctly. Pretty close contender Luke Mills was also pretty close to winning, and David Hoy was the commentator's driver of the day of the race because of the zero-stop strategy. So we have a dry qualifying, but that can all change in the race. China is pretty known to have a wet race. As we see, some of the drivers are leaving and joining back. I'm not sure what is happening. As we have our first driver out on track, it is Owen on medium tires, as well as I think Rob will be on mediums, but I guess we'll have to see. 4 drivers out on track: Owen, Georgios, Michael, and Elliot. So, Owen has missed, I think, only the previous race, so he's gonna be at a disadvantage if he wants to continue fighting for the championship, as he won the first race in Bahrain, if I remember correctly. So he probably wants to have a good result this race if he still wants to be in contention for the championship. But there are still a lot of races to go. These drivers that I have mentioned will have to create space between one another, because if I was a driver, I wouldn't want to be stuck behind a slower car or maybe a faster car, because there is something called the dirty air in Formula 1 and in other motorsport categories as well. The dirty air is the air that when you're behind one car, you're gonna be at a disadvantage in the middle of the corners, because the modern Formula 1 cars are working on downforce. That's the main one of the main things that it's made out of. And we have a spin already with Owen at the final corner, probably too much throttle at the exit of the corner, and he's gonna have to wait a little bit to start his flying lap. But we have some drivers running wide into turn 1, and Mantos going to do the side to let Georgios take his lap. But that was pretty interesting. I think the Haas was getting out of the pit lane, and Georgios has his lap intervened by that event, but I am not sure if that's what happened. We're gonna keep on board with Georgios to complete his flying lap, as he is, I think, the first one to do a lap, but I'm not sure, as he runs wide and invalidates his flying lap. That is pretty unfortunate. He's gonna have to do another lap if he wants to do something. I think Michael is on a flying lap as well, as he just opens DRS and goes 328, 29 and 330 kilometers per hour. That is pretty fast on this track. I'm not sure if a high downforce setup or a low downforce setup is better on this track, but I guess I'll have to wait and see until I try this track myself. And Michael is first one to set lap time with a 131.6 on soft tires, and Elliot follows him right behind a 131.6, and Luke Mills sets a fastest lap time of 130.6, which is not bad, if I say so myself. But there is still time for improvement. as Rob is the first guy to set a lap on mediums, and that is pretty interesting indeed. I think that we're gonna be on board with Mantos, who is starting his flying lap right now. Or not, he's slowing down a lot. I am not sure what is going on. I guess he's having some issues with his game, maybe, or maybe his wheel. But he is going really slowly. Maybe he doesn't have enough fuel, but I think that should be fine. We are now on board with Luke Mills's teammate, a fellow Aston Martin driver, George Norton, on soft tires, which is slowing down as well to probably give a tow to his teammate Luke. If Luke is on another flying lap, George is helping his teammate with this, but he is not. He's not leaving Luke Mills, and he's going into the pit lane. So that was pretty interesting. Let's go on board with someone else. Rob is really wide on the final corner. Yellow flags because of that incident. Probably too much throttle at the entry of the corner. Owen has set another lap time on those mediums, a 132.3, which puts him in P9, which is a pretty good position, but saying that, 6 drivers haven't set lap time yet, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. Let's go on board with Levy, our winner, as I said, in Japan last week. So, he's gonna probably be the one to watch in today's race, as well as Luke Mills and David Hoy, and Owen as well. Those 3 drivers are having a especially good time in PC2, as they are all 3 or 4 drivers are always battling for P1, P2 and P3. So I guess we'll have to see in this race as well if they're gonna have those battles. We do also have some new drivers, as Bolton has joined us in the McLaren. So let's see what he can do, as well as Neff in the Ferrari. So yeah, let's see. Still on board with Levy, braking at the 100 meter mark, going really slowly here, being careful on the throttle and short shifting a bit. And now it's full throttle until the end of the straight and into turn 14. He's getting a bit of slipstream by his teammate. He's gonna be grateful for that. And let's see, he takes turn 14 nicely. Let's see if he can continue that momentum into turn 16, and he does. He probably could have attacked that corner a bit more, but he sets lap time of 131.5 on medium tires. That's gonna put him in P8. He's probably gonna be safe in that position, but let's see at the end of the session if he's gonna do a lap on softs. I'm sorry for that thing, as he puts a fast sector in sector 1 by 55 thousandths of a second. So that's pretty interesting. Is he going on another lap on these mediums, as he did run a bit wide at the previous corner, turn 7, but he looks like is doing another lap, as he is using some of his DRS for this flying lap. And another purple sector, which has been denied, faster by a 10th and 60 thousandths of a second. So that is pretty impressive, but his tires are gonna probably be a bit worn out when he starts today's race, probably around 3 or 4% wear, as he gets another slipstream by, I think that's Owen, just behind him. And he gets a bit of oversteer at the entry of turn 15, and let's see, he attacked turn 15 as aggressively as I thought he would, and a 131.1 for Levi Van Mellen on medium tires. That's gonna put him in P2 for today's race, but the qualifying session is not over yet, as he still has, I think, a few minutes to set a lap time. As we see, someone has retired. That is, I need to be on board with someone. The Williams driver. Okay, that's David Hoy. He spun around at turn 15. Probably, he had a bit. He probably put the foot down a bit too early, and that caused him to spin the car into the wall, and he lost his front wheels because of that incident, and he's gonna be staying in P5. We're gonna have to wait and see if he's gonna stay at that position, or if he's gonna be demoted. As we are on board with Alex James, who has improved on his lap time by 1/10. I think he's also a new driver, but I am not sure. I don't have a pretty good memory. Turn 8, or I think that was turn 9, that was a pretty interesting corner. I think he had a bit of understeer, which the Williams is pretty known for, even though all of the cars are equal. But he still has improved by 3/10. So that's still pretty good. If he can keep this up, he can be in P10 or maybe P11, which is not a bad position to start. If you start at the back of the pack, there is a chance to avoid some crashes that are gonna be happening into turn 1 probably. Let's hope that those don't happen. But yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see, as Luke Mills puts a fastest lap time of 1:30.3, so that is pretty good from him. And Alex has improved, I think, 7/10 in the final sector, 1:31.0, which puts him in P3, and Dragos is in P2, 1:30.9, so a lot of people are improving. So that is pretty good to see. Let's see who else is on their hot lap. I think Robbie Kinnable, our new driver, I think, I'm not sure, in the Red Bull, Levy's teammate who gave him a slipstream at this very same straight. He's doing another lap to try and not be lost. And let's see if he can do that. And he takes the final corner pretty nicely and does not invalidate. And let's see, a 1:31.4. That's a pretty good lap time, which puts him in B11. And there are some things happening in turn 1 with Mantas going really wide. I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, that was pretty weird, if I say so myself. Okay, let's go on board with someone. I think Owen is on his first lap. And he has improved by 5/10, a purple sector 1. That's a pretty good sector 1. Let's see if he can maintain his pace for the rest of the every other sector in sector 2 and sector 1. He runs a bit wide into turn 8. That's a pretty strange corner. If you are driving on this track, you have to take a pretty interesting line on that corner if you want to be on the apex and have the most time gained. We have a yellow sector, but looks like everything is okay. And let's see. He takes turn 14 pretty nicely, has a pretty bad exit off of turn 14. Let's see, on final corner he has a pretty okay exit, and that will put him in P3, 130.8. Still 5/10 off of Luke Mills's time, who is in P1, and Owen nearly avoids a collision with Dragos, who was driving with the AI, so that was pretty good that he avoided that collision. Let's see, someone else, Michael, is also on a hot lap right here. That's how you take a line in turn 7. That was a pretty good line, not understeering. But he does run wide at turn 9 or 10, I think that was, and he invalidates that lap. So that was pretty unfortunate, as I think he was improving on his previous lap time. So I guess we'll have to see what he could do in the next lap. The Haas drivers are doing a wondrous job in today's race. P4 and P6 respectively for both Dragos and Lasse Rasmussen. Lasse, I think, is also a new driver, but I'm not quite sure. But Haas will probably be pretty happy about that. P4 and P6, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. We have yellow flags in Sector 1, Sector 2 and Sector 3. I don't know what's happening. Georgios is really wide on the straight, also of the track. So that was pretty interesting. I'm not sure what happened. And let's go on board with Dragos. As I said, oh, he is behind Owen. He's gonna probably have some dirty air in these first corners if Owen does not let him past. That's gonna slow him down quite a bit, and I think that is Owen's intention. I don't know if Owen is doing another lap, but it looks like he is, and he is doing another lap. So Dragos seriously has come in the middle of Owen's flying lap, so I think that this lap is going to have to be abandoned, and he's gonna have to start another flying lap. Let's go on board with Owen and see if he can improve on his previous lap time. He's on older soft tires, 2 laps old, so that's not pretty. So that's not how do you say that? That's not recommended. And he backs out of his lap, so he's not gonna be improving. So let's go on board with our current leader, Luke Mills, which is P1 at the moment, currently starting his flying lap at the moment. Let's be on board with him. So he takes turn 1, turn 2, and let's see, turn 3 pretty nicely right on the apex, and has a pretty early launch off of turn 3. That was, I think, the best sector. He improved by 20 thousandths of a second. In turn 5 he overshots a little bit. I think that's turn 5. Here he runs a bit wide, but he is on the apex for the next corner, and that is pretty okay. We have Raphael retiring from the session. I think he crashed in the pit lane, if I'm looking at the map, but I'm not really sure what happened. Let's see, the snail section, turn 12 and 13, he goes really early on throttle and gets a pretty nice exit for the straight. You want to have a good exit off of the snail section if you want to be in the contention on the straight. He gets a slipstream from his fellow teammate George Norton, and that's gonna improve his lap time by quite a bit. And let's see, he's running up the final corner, and he is still P1. He doesn't improve. He's slower by 7 tenths. I think he slowed down in sector 3, but I'm not really sure. Let's see if Never mind, Nef runs really wide, so he's not gonna improve, but he is P2 on the front row of the grid, so that is pretty impressive from our new driver. So let's see what he can do in today's race. And I think that is everyone done with their flying lap, and it is. So our winner in Japan, Levy, is gonna be the only one who's gonna be starting in the top 10 on medium tires. So that is a pretty interesting strategy. So let's see if he's gonna do a 1-stop or a 2-stop. I guess we'll just have to wait and see, as we are waiting for Nev Dragos and Michael to return to their pits, and that is gonna be qualifying over. I think we're waiting for Dragos only. It should be in just a minute. There we go. So that was a pretty interesting qualifying session, and we have Luke Mills, Neff, and Owen running up the top 3, separated by 0.5 of a second. So that was pretty impressive, and really impressive from our new driver Neff. So he's gonna be pretty happy about that position. Next up we have Dragos in P4, Bolton, also our new driver, in P5, 0.6 off of P1. Alex P6, Rasmussen P7, Levy, our Japanese winner, in P8. Raphael in P9. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. I am really sorry, everyone. Raphael P9, Rob P10, David Hoy P11, Greg in P12, Michael P13, Elliot, Georgios, Mantos, and Daryl runs up the final row of the grid. So, pretty interesting qualifying session. I think everyone was separated by 2 seconds, but I'm not sure. P1 and P2 have been separated by 0.3. So there is quite a big gap, and Luke Mills looks like has the advantage to win today's race if he doesn't mess anything up. But Neff, maybe his race pace is better than in qualifying. So I guess we'll have to see what our new driver can do. As well as Owen, who missed the previous Grand Prix. Maybe he can also do something. But all we can do is speculate. We just have to wait and see until the race starts and until we are at the final stages of the Grand Prix. Because the Grand Prix isn't determined by the beginning, it's determined by the end. So anything can happen. And there are no red flags, so that's out of the window. I think they should add that in the next game. That would be pretty cool, I think. So we are waiting for George Norton once again, just like in qualifying, waiting for him to ready up. Not sure if he has connection issues or something else, but yeah, we just have to wait for him. So, oh, we're waiting for everyone. Oh, okay, we are starting. And there we go. So, again, we are waiting for everything to start. We have formation lap turned on. That's gonna give the drivers the opportunity to warm up their tires before the start of the race. That's gonna be mandatory. If you have colder tires at the beginning of the race, you're gonna have a pretty bad time. You're gonna struggle with the traction in the first few gears, and you're probably gonna be left behind by everyone. So it is pretty mandatory to warm up those tires. But of course that's to the drivers. We have a predicted strategy of a 1-stop, or as I said, the drivers can do a 2-stop. They can start on softs and go to hards until the end, or go from softs to twice mediums and go until the end of the race. So in my league race, my second league race, in the F1 2020 game, or the second league race of my career, I did a 2-stop on this track, softs, mediums, and softs. That worked out for me because I was able to catch the race leader, and I was able to put a fastest lap. So I overtook him on the penultimate lap, and I won the race and got 26 points out of that. So a 2-stop is risky, but if you know what you're doing, if you are fast enough, that's probably gonna be the option for you, as the hard tires are pretty bad on this track. Also, this track is, I think, pretty high tire wear track, so the tires are gonna wear out pretty quickly if the drivers don't take care of them. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. As we are waiting for everyone to round up the formation lap, and we have Levi, Michael, Elliot, George, Georgios, Mantos, and Daryl starting on medium tires, and David Hoy and Greg are gonna start on hards. I'm also sorry if I am pronouncing any names wrong. I'm really sorry about that. But yeah, what can you do? I don't know any other language than my language and English, so I don't know how to pronounce some other names from other countries. But that doesn't matter now, as we are waiting for our final guy Daryl to get to the position, to the starting grid. And there we go, that should be everyone. And we have 3, 4, and 5 red lights, and let's see, we have a pretty long hold up, but we are starting, and looks like Neff has got a pretty good start, and he took P1. Owen also is in P2 right now, and Luke is going around the outside. Let's see what he can do. We have a McLaren going off the track, and Luke Mills and Owen are battling for P2, and there was contact a little bit on the side pod. Luke Mills and Owen are still side by side. Let's see if Owen is gonna take the move around the inside, and he makes the move and pushes Luke Mills off the track a little bit, and he gets overtaken by Dragos around the inside. Let's see if Luke Mills can defend. He is going around the outside. That's a pretty good overtaking maneuver, and we do have a yellow flag, and I'm not sure what happened. Looks like everything is okay, but this was a pretty interesting start. Looks like no crashes yet. Levy from P8 to P12, he's not gonna be happy about that, but that is pretty... Oh, we have a touch! Mantos and the McLaren of Bolton, I think that was. And that was a touch and spin from both of the drivers, so that was pretty interesting, and good that we caught that. George Norton in the Aston Martin is going on Michael. They're going side by side into turn 14. Let's see if George is doing a dive bomb, and he is. Let's see, Michael will do a switchback, and he is a bit faster, but he's not close enough to make a move. Or he is, and they touch! No, Michael and George touch. That was unnecessary, I think. Levy is in the pit lane, probably front wing damage. He doesn't have front wing damage, but looks like they are changing his wing. So that was pretty interesting. Neff has really benefited from the start, as he's still P1, and I think that's a gap of around 2 or 3 seconds. So our new driver is really having a good race at the moment. Let's see if he can keep that up. We also have a battle right behind with Alex and Rasmussen, pretty close to one another, almost touched, I think, but I didn't see that on camera. This is a big slipstream of cars, a big train of cars, that's a better term. From P2 to P11, everyone's still close enough, so anything can happen. Rasmus and Owen are really close to one another, but Rasmussen looks like is not wasting any of his ERS, not yet at least, to get P4 from Owen. So I think he's waiting for the perfect opportunity to do a move. And we do have a fastest lap from Neff, a 1:35.1, and now we see the gap. It's 2 seconds, Neff and Luke, from P1 and P2. So that was pretty good from Neff in the beginning. Let's see, we have another guy into the pit lane. We have Bolton with a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and David Hoy is also going into the pit lane. So we have a lot of people going into the pit lane, and a 5-second penalty again for David Hoy. He got that in the previous race, and he got that now. At least I think it was a penalty. No safety cars just yet. George Norton passed the sector 1. And yeah, that was pretty a pretty okay start. There was pretty intense battles in the beginning, and nothing really major happened, as Neff looks like lost a lot of time to Luke. I don't know what's happening, but he's losing a bit of control. He has a bunch of oversteer, and Luke has DRS, and let's see if he can overtake Neff. He's going to run the inside, and let's see if Neff can maybe do something. Dragos looks like he's really close to do a move as well, as he does go around the inside, but he has a pretty poor exit off of 10-14 and does not overtake Neff just yet. Neff will have DRS on Luke Mills. Let's see if he wants to regain P1 for himself. He's not using any ERS, so that is a no answer. And Luke Mills goes a bit wide and leaves an open door for Neff, but he doesn't go for it. He is gonna remain in P2, as Owen is going around the inside of Dragos. So this is a pretty interesting 4-way battle for P1. With Luke, Neff, Dragos and Owen almost touches Dragos as he broke a bit too late for that corner. Yeah, I guess we have to wait until the main straight, where, as I said in qualifying, that's gonna be the best place to overtake. And we have a yellow flag. Mantos has a spun in turn 8, I think that is. And no damage, but he does have pretty hot tires, so he's gotta be pretty careful in these next few corners to not try and spin the car. Let's see. Dragos and Owen have DRS on Neff, but they are still not close enough. Neff is trying to go on Luke, but he's not close enough as well. Owen has a pretty bad exit off of turn 14, but I think he still has a pretty good chance, as he does have DRS on the start-finish straight. So let's see what he can do. And Dragos, he doesn't have any ERS, but he does have DRS, and he's still close to both Luke and Neff, so he's waiting for a perfect opportunity to try and make a move on both of these drivers. As Luke Mills is losing a bit of time in the corners, as he has a bit of oversteer. Raphael and Rob have switched positions. Raphael is now P6, and Greg's, I think, nearly collided with Rob, so that was really good that that contact was avoided. And we have something happening here. Oh, I saw that. That was. I thought that was the AlphaTauri and the Alfa Romeo battling on the main straight, but looks like that was just a false alarm. We are on the main straight once again with our 4 drivers again battling for positions, as Dragos is using his DRS pretty early. He does have DRS and slipstream, so let's see, he's gonna run the outside as Nef is defending the inside line, and let's see if he can take that opportunity, and he does go run the outside, and Nef does a pretty awful mistake as he goes on neutral gears, and looks like our leaders are going into the pit lane. That's pretty early, I think. I don't know on what lap they should stop, but I think that's pretty early. So they are probably doing a 2-stop because they stopped that early. Luke Mills is gonna be still ahead of Owen, but he will have traffic of Mantos right ahead of him, as he spun previously, so he's gonna have pretty bad pace. Levy has his teammate on the inside who has pitted for new softs, so he's gonna have a pretty bad time to overtake his teammate and move up some positions. But to be honest, Levy had an accident in the start of the race as he nearly touches his teammates, so that was really close. Levy had a pretty bad beginning of the race as he had some front wing damage, but he looks like he has regained a lot of positions as Rob spins it on turn 7. Probably too cold tires, or maybe he touched the inside curb as Alex also spins. Looks like there is no damage for both drivers, so they are pretty lucky to have escaped that crash with no damage, as Nef really went outside the track but still has DRS on Lasse Rasmussen, but he is too far behind to try and make a move, so that's gonna have to wait. As Elliot and Greg are fighting for P1. Let's see, Elliot is trying to go around the outside, Greg is definitely the inside line, and they touch a little bit. Let's see, that's not a spin because Greg has controlled that collision pretty nicely, and he hasn't spun yet, so that was a pretty close call for Greg and Elliot. So it's good to see that both drivers are still in good position. Nef has got a 3-second time penalty as Lasse Rasmussen has overtaken Dragos for P9. We have a spin of Michael in the final corner and at the start-finish straight. I'm not sure what happened, but he is in P18, last position. So that was pretty interesting. I'm not sure what happened. Nef and Dragos have touched a little bit. That's maybe damage, but I'm not sure. Nef has to be pretty careful in the next corner if he doesn't want to do that again, as Georgios has a 3-second time penalty as well as everyone else. Let's see, Nef is 5/10 behind Dragos. Let's see if he can maybe make a move on turn 14, as we do have Luke Mills and Mantos battling for P6. Luke Mills has put Mantos off the track, and Owen was trying to overtake him as well, but he wasn't close enough. And now Mantos will have another opportunity to get P6. Owen is too far behind, and Mantos has really old tires, so he's not gonna be able to do anything. And Owen goes around the inside and now around the outside to overtake Mantos. That was a pretty good move, if I say so myself, from Owen right there. Whew. We are already in lap 8. Migrating host, who has left? Levy has left the session. I am not sure what happened, probably connection issues. Let's hope that he can sort that out before anything else bad has happened. The teammates Dragos Rasmussen and Nef as well in the Ferrari are battling for P9, 10 and 11, and that was pretty close with Nef and Dragos. and Nef trying to go around the inside. We do have a spin from Daryl. We're gonna see right now, spinning in turn 10. I think that is pretty unfortunate, as Nef will have a pretty good opportunity to overtake Dragos finally for P9, but Dragos also has DRS and Slipstream from his teammate Rasmussen, and he is going to run the inside. Let's see, he takes that position pretty easily, and Dragos has emerged in P8, as Daryl, I think, actually Bolton has spun it after turn 13. So both McLarens are having a pretty bad time at the moment, not having a good race. As Rasmussen goes really wide and Nevko goes around the inside to claim P9. Pretty clean overtake. Unfortunate for Rasmussen to go really wide with that. Probably understeer. Owen and Mantos are still at it for P6. That's provisional P2, I think. Yes, it is. It's provisional P2, and they're still at it. Looks like Owen has not got any opportunity to overtake Mantos, and he will have to do it quickly, because Mantos will also have DRS for this next main straight. So he's gonna have to be really quick, and he's gonna have to use some of his DRS, because he has 97% DRS. He's gonna have to use some of that, and he does. Let me just invite Levi in the race, because he has disconnected. And Owen looks like is still behind Mantos, so he's really having a bad time to overtake Mantos, but he is really close right here, and let's see if he can maybe overtake him around the inside. He's not using any ERS, and let's see, and he breaks pretty late, and he does overtake him for P6. We do have a spin from the Mercedes of Raphael, I think that is, in turn 15, so that's pretty unfortunate. So Owen finally overtakes Mantos, and now he has an opportunity to try and get close to his rival Luke Mills. So let's see if he can do that in the next coming laps. But we know for sure that both of these drivers, Luke and Owen, are gonna have to pit once again for new tires, as we have another spin from the Mercedes driver Raphael in turn 1. So that was pretty interesting. Let's go to our current leaders, Elliot and Greg, who are fighting every lap and exchanging these positions in P1 and P2. And let's see, Greg is definitely inside, Elliot is trying to go around the outside. He's doing a switchback, but he doesn't have a pretty good exit off of that corner. Let's see if he can maybe overtake him on this main straight once again, as they don't pit still. And Dragos, oh, that was really interesting. That was, I think, that's, I think, a safety car. And we have a spin from George Norton as well. Oh, that was really unfortunate from the AlphaTauri driver, and that's not a safety car. How is that not a safety car? I think that Greg is gonna have a penalty because of that late defending maneuver, which caught Elliot off guard and caused him to lose control of his car. I think we're gonna have to see that crash again later in the briefing. Because that's probably gonna be penalized for Greg. But let's not go forth with that. Dragos and Nef are battling for P6. I think that is P3 provisionally. And let's see here. both Rasmussen and Neff are gonna have DRS on Dragos. Dragos hasn't got any DRS, but he is pretty far ahead, as Rasmussen has pretty good chance, but he is pretty far behind still to try and make an overtake. So he's gonna have to be pretty patient for that opportunity. But Neff got a pretty okay exit off of the, turn 16, the final corner, but he's not using any ERS, so he doesn't want to overtake on this this corner, as turn 1 is pretty difficult to overtake, as the track is going right and uphill as well. If you want to overtake into turn 1, you have to be pretty brave to make a move. I don't know, to be honest, about that one. There was no touch. There wasn't a touch, but that was a really late defending maneuver. If he moved on the inside line before, like a second before, I think it would have been fine, but because it was all it was so unexpected, and on the onboard on Elliot moved on the inside at the same time as Greg, so I think that should be a penalty for Greg, as he went pretty late for that defending maneuver. But I am not a steward, so I'm not in charge here. The stewards are gonna have to decide what is going to be with that incident. But we do have Luke Mills going around the inside. We have been talking about this corner, and he makes a move on Georgios. We were talking about that corner where you have to be pretty brave to overtake, and he does overtake on that corner. So that was a pretty good overtake, and let's see, Alex and Daryl as well are having a battle into turn 1. Levy is in the session again. Alex has taken P12 from Daryl as he runs a bit wide into turn 2. So he took the opportunity to just slice into P12. So that was pretty good. As I said, Levy is in the session again. He probably lost a lot of time because of the disconnect, so let's see if he can maybe make some positions up. And I don't know why, but Neff and Dragos are seriously having a battle all the time. Like, they cannot get rid of each other. Dragos is on 1 lap younger mediums, but I think that this is gonna be an overtake for Neff, as he is using all of his ERS and DRS, and he is going around the inside of Dragos. Let's see, Dragos goes pretty late on the brakes, and he's going around the outside, and he gets a pretty good exit, and he's still in P6. We have a retirement from Alex James in P13 in Williams, so that is pretty unfortunate. Dragos has DRS from Mantos, so Neff is gonna have to wait, but he does have the inside open. Let's see if maybe he can do it. No. We have another retirement from Levy. We have a lot of retirements in today's race. Our winner in Japan, Levy, has spun it into the wall. We're gonna see on what are those lines. Ero, what was that? Is that allowed? Because those lines were pretty weird, if I say so myself, into the pit box. But yeah, we have 3 retirements already. Levy, Alex, and Elliot, and that was all in a span of, I think, 4 or 5 laps. So that's really unfortunate. 5-second penalty with Neff as he collided with Dragos. So that was interesting as well. Unfortunate. So, safety car is on. Um, our leader, Greg, is probably gonna go for a new set of mediums, probably. I think the mediums can maybe make it until the end of the race, and this safety car will really benefit him. He will be pretty high in the positions, as Owen is our leader, our Alfa Romeo driver. And Greg will retain P2 for himself, and he will have fresh mediums that will probably go until the end of the race, and Luke Mills will be just behind him. So yeah, I think that was pretty interesting. Unfortunate as well, from all of our drivers that have retired from the session. Because we have a lot of time until the safety car will go into the pit lane again, probably 1 or 2 laps. Let's see some of the information that we have. We have only three people with 3 seconds of penalties. We have Michael, Neff, and Georgios. And yes, let's see. A lot of people have done a 2-stop already in today's race. We only have Owen, Greg, Georgios, Mantos, George, and Daryl, who only stopped once. Owen will probably go into the pit lane this lap because those mediums are not gonna last until the end of the race. And if he doesn't pit in the safety car period, he's gonna lose a lot of positions when the safety car does leave. So he's gonna have to decide if he wants to do that. Most positions gained at the moment is by Georgios in the Mercedes. He gained 12 positions, then it's Mantos in the AlphaTauri, 11 positions, and then Greg in P2, 10 positions. The most positions lost is by Alex James, who started P6 but now has retired from the race and is P17. But of our remaining drivers, it's Bolton in P8. And looks like Owen hasn't stopped yet. So he's gonna take a risk. But that risk is probably not gonna pay off, as those mediums, as I said, will not go until the end of the race. Maybe if he can conserve the tires, he will go until the end, but everyone around him, like literally everyone around him has fresh tires. So he's gonna be at a massive disadvantage. So he has to do something about it. So I don't think that was a smart maneuver from Owen, but anything can happen, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe he's gonna go for softs at the final stages of the race, and then he's gonna go for the fastest lap. But yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. We are currently on lap 16. We have passed the half stage mark of the race, and a lot has happened. As I said, 3 retirements. Pretty unfortunate, as everything was going a bit well. I mean, we did have a lot of spins at every corner from every driver, and safety car is in this lap, so that is good for me, because I don't know what to speak on the safety car. So yeah, we had a lot of spins already in today's race, which is really weird, if I say so myself. When I was league racing on this track, I mean, that was in the previous game, but we didn't have a lot of spins. Maybe in this year's game, because the cars don't have a lot of downforce and the curbs are deadly, maybe that's affecting everything. And I don't know why China is in this year's game when it shouldn't be, because it's not even on the calendar. in real life. So that's, I think, a really stupid decision from Codemasters, because I don't think anyone likes China. Even though I won on this track in my second league race ever, I don't like this track. As we have 5-second penalty, Rob with Lazira Rasmussen, and let's see, Greg is trying to go around the outside of Owen, and they're going still side by side into turn 2. And let's see, Owen is still ahead of Greg. As I said, Owen is gonna be at a disadvantage. We do have a yellow flag with Daryl spinning, but let's not focus on that right now, as we have a lot of battles happening right here. Rob and Neff really close to one another. Let's see, Neff has backed out of that battle, but he's gonna be close for the next main straight. Dragos and Georgios are having a battle. Dragos has the advantage of the medium tires, and Georgios is on hard tires. So if Dragos wants to battle for P4 or respectively for the podium, he's gonna have to get rid of Georgios really quickly. So let's wait and see if he can maybe make that. But he does have Mantos and his teammate Rasmussen just behind him to overtake them as well. So he's gonna have to be careful, as Mantos gets 3 seconds of penalties, and Rasmussen and Mantos are going side by side into turn 14. Let's see, Mantos, and that was a pretty close to not touch. Mantos is braking pretty late, and Rasmussen as well. Mantos has a pretty good exit around the outside, and on the final corner, let's see, Mantos has overtaken Rasmussen for P6. He remains in P6. Georgios got a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, so that was pretty unfortunate. But that was a pretty good battle for P6 between Mantos and Rasmussen. Owen goes pretty wide at turn 3 or 4, I think that is, but he does get a pretty good exit. So he has pretty good speed before turn 6. So he remains in P1 still. We have a nearly an overtake from Bolton on David Hoy. If anything, I think that safety car has helped everyone in terms of getting some positions. So let's see if everyone can do that. 3-second time penalty for Georgios. Corner cutting again. Like before the safety car, it went pretty well. We had a few spins, but that was it. After the safety car, everyone gets 3 seconds of penalties. Like, what is happening? Like, seriously. Owen and Greg are fighting. Greg is trying to go around the outside. He's doing the switchback on Owen. Let's see if he can get a pretty good exit. He does not, but Owen spins! Owen spins into the wall, and he loses his front wing. And that is really unfortunate from our Alfa Romeo driver, who hasn't raced for Japan in last week. So that is really unfortunate from him. As we have the David Hoy, Raphael and Bolton battling with each other. We have Manto spinning and he is off track. And these drivers are really careful to not get any contact between one another. But yeah, that was really close, as Georgios and Dragos are battling for P3 as well. Mantos DNFs from the race. That is interesting to see. We haven't seen what happened, but I think that we won't see anything. As Dragos doesn't have any damage, as he was battling with Georgios for P3. That was pretty close to contact, going around the outside to avoid any damage. David Hoy gets 3 second time penalty, and Dragos will probably not get a position yet. But Rasmussen is trying to go to his teammate, and he's not using any ERS, so he probably just wants to stay behind Dragos to overtake Georgios respectively, so they can both get a position. So let's see if they can take this teamwork and make it into a podium finish. But yeah, that was really interesting. Luke Mills has overtaken Greg. We haven't seen, I think we haven't seen that overtake, but Luke Mills is our leader as of right now. Dragos is going around the inside, and I think that the Georgios actually let him overtake him, but he was pretty bad on the brakes, nearly colliding Dragos. And Rasmussen, if you saw in the rearview mirror, he also had to take avoiding steps to try not to contact with Georgios. And oh, Rasmussen gets a bit of oversteer in turn 10, but thankfully he hasn't spun. But Nev looks like has gathered a bunch of positions to get into P6. He has an opportunity to get ahead of both Rasmussen and Georgios, as this is gonna be a slipstream fest for him. Let's see if he can overtake, as Rasmussen is going to run the inside of Georgios, and Georgios is not defending that position, and that was a pretty free overtake for Rasmussen. And as they touch, Georgios spun Rasmussen, and that was not a good thing to do. I don't know what to say to that. But David Hoy trying to go around the inside, but he backed out of it. And that was nearly contact, as George is trying to go around the inside, but oh, Georgios just doesn't leave any space for George. So Georgios is driving a bit dirty in today's race, as he spun Rasmussen and nearly collided with George as he went really wide. That's probably gonna be a penalty for Georgios after the race. We're gonna have to wait and see what the stewards are gonna decide. But even though I'm not a steward, that's seriously gonna need to be a penalty. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Dragos now battling with Greg for P2. Pretty interesting. Dragos hasn't got any penalties, but Dragos has. Dragos got a bit of oversteer after the snail section. Rasmussen has spun it in turn 13, I think that is, and that was I think pretty bad, as Georgios and George, oh my god, that was contact between Georgios and George. That's, I think that Georgios deserves probably a qualifying ban or a race ban, because that's really dirty from him. And Bolton and Rob also battling into turn 1 and turn 2. That's Georgios, how you battle in these corners. You don't leave space and then close the door immediately. This is how you battle in the first few corners. And Rob gets in front of Bolton to get P5 in today's race. Jesus Christ, Georgios, that was pretty intense, as Owen has spun it, I think, as there were yellow flags. And there is something else happening, I am not sure what, with our midfield drivers battling for 1 point and 2 points respectively. Rasmussen gets a bunch of oversteer again at the same corner as previously, turn 9 I think that is, I'm not sure, as Michael as well gets a bit of oversteer. David Hoy and Rasmussen will have the DRS on Michael, so let's see if they maybe can overtake him. But Michael has a lot of VRS, 60%, so he has a lot to defend with. But yeah, Rasmussen and David are not close enough to make any positions, as our leaders are battling and the Dragos is taking pretty interesting defensive measures, as Nev goes around the inside of Dragos and they're still going side by side into these first few turns. And oh, that's a touch from Dragos and Nev into turn 4. So that is really bad. Why is everyone colliding with each other? Well, like that's really bad. At least Luke Mills is having a pretty clean race in front of him, as Georgios retires from this race. This is a Wreckfest. I think that these guys want to play Wreckfest and not F1, because this is really dirty driving from a lot of drivers. But I'm not gonna say anything. I don't want to get trouble. We have Rob and Bolton battling for P5 respectively. Rob has a penalty and Rob is weaving on the track. That's gonna be a warning from him, as Bolton leaves him no space around the outside and Bolton gets P5. If you don't know the official defending rules, you're allowed to make only two defending moves. You can go from the outside line to the inside line, and then from the inside line to the outside line, and that's it. You cannot weave on track, and that was weaving from Rob. So that's gonna be a warning, because you cannot do that. So you have to be careful with what you do, as our P2, 3 and 4 drivers are battling for the podium places. Greg and Neff, the teammates, are battling for P2 and P3, and they have Dragos just behind them, as Neff trying to go around the inside, but he got a bit of oversteer. I think that was at the exit of the corner, and he didn't have any luck with that position, but he will have the DRS for this main straight. And both teammates have nearly the same ERS, so let's see if he can make the move. And he is going around the outside as Greg is defending, and they touch a little bit, but not endangered contact. I don't know what to call that, as Neff gets P2 in today's race. The only problem that these drivers have, Neff and Greg, is that they both have 3 seconds of penalties. So they're gonna have to do something if they want to be ahead of Dragos. Because if they don't do something in these 3 laps, if they don't pull away, they're gonna lose, or one of them is gonna lose the final podium place, as Dragos will get P2 really easily. But I guess we'll just have to see what they can do, as Michael Rasmussen and David Hoy are battling for P9. All 3 drivers have penalties, and that was pretty wide from David Hoy. He gets a pretty bad exit as well. While we are waiting for something, I wanted to check the fastest lap of the race, which was set by Owen, a 132.2 on soft tires. The problem with that, if you set a fastest lap but you're below P10, you're not gonna get that point, because you only get the bonus point if you're in top 10. So Owen, even though he put a fastest lap, he is not gonna get a point because of that, because he's in P13. But yeah, the Ferraris are actually pulling away, as I said on the previous lap that they should pull away, they are pulling away from Dragos. We do have a yellow sector 3. I'm not sure what happened. Rasmussen got a 3-second time penalty. Not sure for what, probably corner cutting. But yeah, the Ferraris are seriously gathering a lot of time on Dragos, as I said, that they need to do if they want to keep the podium place for themselves. If they can, this is gonna be a really good day for Ferrari. But we'll have to wait and see until the end of the session, until the end of the race. Michael, David Hoy and Rasmussen are still battling with one another for P9. I think one of them has a 5-second time penalty. No, he has 8. He had a 5-second time penalty, but now he has 8. Looks like David Hoy is a bit too far behind to get DRS from Michael, but he does get that time in the snail section. So both Hoy and Rasmussen will have DRS for this main straight, and let's see. Hoy is using his ERS, and now DRS. Let's see if he can maybe overtake Michael for P9. He is going to run the inside, and Michael is not defending. And let's see, Michael has locked up a bit. They're still side by side, but Michael gets a better exit off of turn 14. And Rasmussen is really close as well. As David Hoy gets a really nice exit of the final corner, and he goes around the inside of Michael and overtakes him for P9. But he does run really wide, and that leaves a space open to maybe try and overtake him. But he doesn't take it, as he locks up to avoid contact with him, and Rasmussen has taken that opportunity to get a bit closer to both of these drivers, to maybe overtake both of them. But if he wants to overtake both of them, he has to save a bit of VRS, because he doesn't have any to attack with. But David Hoy is taking pretty weird lines off of every corner. He is losing a lot of time, and he gets a lot of oversteer as well off of a lot of corners. And Michael has broken really late before the snail section, before turn 11, and that was really good. He gained a lot of time from that, and he will probably have an opportunity to attack David Hoy, as David Hoy is defending the inside line, but Michael is not in his slipstream, which is really interesting. Really interesting. But David Hoy breaks pretty late and leaves and goes pretty slowly, but he doesn't manage to overtake him, and he will probably have another opportunity right now at the start-finish straight. But he is not using any ERS, as we have a yellow sector 2. We have a McLaren spinning into the wall, and that's a crash and a retirement. That's pretty unfortunate on the final lap, as Bolton had pretty good points on his hands. That was really unfortunate. We are on the final lap already. I don't know how did it go that fast. And Neff and Greg looks like gained a lot of time. Dragos probably had a mistake or something, because he spun, I think. As George Norton spins into the wall, he has front wing damage probably. And both Ferraris are gonna retain P2 and P3 if they don't mess it up. We have an overtake happening with Dragos and Raphael takes that position. As we see, Luke Mills running off the race, going and winning. Jesus Christ, I'm sorry if that was pretty anticlimactic. At the end, I don't have my voice anymore. But Luke Mills wins today's race in China. And Neff and Greg have retained P2 and P3 for themselves, so this is a really good day for Ferrari indeed. Rasmussen gets a 5-second time penalty for he answered it, looks like. And we are waiting for Daryl to round off the race. So that race was really quick, and looks like the game's driver of the day is Rob Kinnable. I don't know who my driver of the day is, I don't really care, but there we go. Luke Mills is P1 in today's race, and he looks really happy as he is lifting that trophy, and now they're having the champagne of happiness, I'm gonna call it that. the champagne of the podium. So, Luke Mills, this is his first win of the season, I think, and he gets 25 points for that. So, pretty interesting race. So, as I said, Luke Mills wins the race, and Nev just follows him right behind in P2, and Greg as well finishes the podium. Rob Kinnable in the Red Bull is P4, he gets 12 points for them. Raphael P5, Dragos P6, David Hoy P7, Michael P8, Lasse Rasmussen P9, P10 is George Norton, and Owen, who was our winner in Bahrain in round 1, P11, Daryl P12, Bolton P13, P14 is Georgios, P15 is Mantos, Levi P16, Alex James P17, and Elliot is the final one in P18. We're gonna take a final look at the directory for any incidents if the stewards need it and all of that. I'm gonna check all of the pit stops as well if the stewards are gonna need it, and there we go. The fastest lap was of course by Owen, a 132.293, 1 second faster, 1.3 seconds faster than Luke Mills, who had a better lap time. So that was a pretty interesting race, pretty unfortunate with all of the DNFs. I think we had around 5 or 6 DNFs, but yeah, I hope that you enjoyed the race as well as I did. I hope that the stream quality was good, that we didn't have any lag spikes or something like that, and I hope that everything went well. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed today's race. I'm your host and commentator, actually. I'm your commentator Kikrlin, or Dino from PC1, and I'm gonna see you maybe tomorrow if there's gonna be a stream in the PC1 race. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. You're gonna have to watch me, maybe. But I think that we're gonna have a pretty interesting race on our hands tomorrow. So, have a good time, have a good day and night, enjoy tomorrow's race in Netherlands, and stay safe everyone. And I hope you have a good day/night.